Hey guys, I know a lot of you like some stories, so I thought I would tell you a one of my little race story. And this was at Daytona Speedway in 2013. The story I'm about to tell you. Now, while the story's going on, I thought I'd play one of the North Wilksboro qualifying. Uh, there's some big names in that race. Guy I won the championship with is in the race. In fact, he qualified second, I think, for the race. Anyway, obviously you're not going to see the whole race. It's a short video, but I thought I'd play the qualifying while I'm telling the story. So I would show you the Daytona, but I can't find my video, so I'm just playing this one. Enjoy the story. Talk to you later. Year was 2013. We were at Daytona, and we had a brand new driver, really good driver. Turned out to be a very good driver, but had never driven in a car with this kind of power. And we were doing the featherlight, NASCAR featherlight mods at Daytona Speedway. So we roll through tech. It takes a pretty good while. They check the compression, and it has to be 12.1 to 1, or it's 10 pounds for every tenth of a point over they add to the car. If you're way off, they'll just disqualify you. We were dead on 12.1, primarily because in 2006, I think I bought the K-Tech Whistler, which is the exact tool that NASCAR uses. And I went ahead and broke down and bought one. They were $2,800 back then. And that way I could have the engines on the money. So I went ahead and bought one of those. I still have it to this day. In fact, in the engine challenge we're about to compete in, with Greg Finnegan, Race Engine Dyno Challenge with the Classic Rivals competition, we're going to be using my K-Tech Whistler for that competition. So I'll have it out and I'll show it to you. That thing is it's kept under my desk. I don't leave it out because it's very sensitive, very expensive. Anyway, we go through tech. Sorry about all the rambling. We go through tech and no problems. And of course they pump the engine. They go fine-tooth comb through the carburetor. And these rules were 390 CFM carb. No, you couldn't do any booster modifications. It had to be of course it wasn't, but it had to be a box stock 390. I had about $3,000 in the carburetor after I bought it. So I had like $3,000 in this carburetor. Most of the work was done in the meter and block. It just makes such a difference. Anyhow, this was a Bolal's carburetor. I guess some of you guys call him BLP. The other good one, by the way, BLP is a phenomenal carburetor guy. The other good one that we like to use is VDL. For circle track, I don't know if there's anybody that beats those two. Now, out of the box, AED is a fantastic carburetor, but if you're going to spend the money and get a good carb, VDL or BLP are really good. Highly recommend them. And for all my drag racing stuff, I will use BLP or the Pro Systems. Patrick at Pro Systems, talked to him a lot. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I used to talk to him quite a bit. He builds. If I'm getting a custom carb done for drag racing, I usually let Patrick do it at Pro Systems. Anyways, sorry about that. I had, of course, this is Daytona, so we also ran at Charlotte. We did a 2 second place finishes at Charlotte, and first time in years that we were racing at Daytona. So got there and got, like I said, got a brand new brand new drivers. This is a new team, and they were out of Florida. Good people, nice people. And they contracted me for the engine, and this was one of the very best engines I had ever done. I had my heart and soul in this engine, and everything imaginable, every trick in the book, no stone left unturned, I did to this engine. So we get there, we go through tech, they check everything, chassis, suspension, they check your rod heights, they check your sheet metal, they check the gear ratios. Your NASCAR only allows you to run certain gears. So if you don't have enough motor, oh well. And if you need a lot of gear, they only allow you to go so much. All my engines at almost every NASCAR track, we have to run the highest gear they allow. Usually we're way higher gear ratio than everyone else because we are wrapping 9,000 RPMs. Usually my engines will max out every gear we have. In fact, at Charlotte, we had to run a 49 gear. The guys that run that quick change stuff, they know what I'm talking about. We had to borrow one because nobody was running that kind of gear. We were bumping the chip at 8,800 with everything. So we had to put a 49 in. Anyways, we finally get to go practice. Go through all the rigmarole. Finally, here comes, we get to go practice. And obviously, again, first time he's sat in his car. So he goes out, and I mean, you hear him, just ripping down the straightaway. Runs about 5-6 laps and comes in, and of course we're making chassis adjustments, tire pressure adjustments, and this is early in the day. I mean, this is a 2-3 day event. This is early in the day, and I'm of course checking everything else. I'm not doing any kind of chassis. Well, I do some, but I'm checking everything else on the engine. I want to make sure that if we lose, it's not because of the engine. Well, I hit the recall on the tach and it says 8,700. And I said, okay, I don't really think we need to turn that the whole race. Let's put some higher gear to it. So we did. We dropped it down 2 sizes. And if I had my chart here, my winner's gear chart, I could tell you what it was, but I just don't remember now. So we changed out, quick change, only takes 10 minutes or something. We changed the gear and he runs back out there. 4 or 5 laps, he comes back in. Tach's reading almost 8,800 RPMs. I said, darn man, didn't y'all change the gear? He goes, yeah, we changed it. We came down 2 sizes. I'm like, he's still running 8,800 RPMs. We don't need to turn that the whole race. And so I went and looked, and sure enough, there was the 2 gears in the bucket, drying them off. Sure enough, they changed it. And I looked at the numbers on the gears, and if you don't know what that looks like, guys, you look at a quick change you're in, and look at you got 2 gears. And they're straight cut gears, and you just pop off a rear plate, pull the gears out, throw in 2 different gears, and of course all of our gears are super finished. They look like chrome. I mean, this is nice stuff. So there's the 2 gears. I know they changed the gear ratio. So we changed it again. I came down 2 more ratios. Again, this is 4 gear ratio numbers from when we started practicing 10 laps earlier. Because what we were trying to do is get a qualifying setup. That's what I'm jumping around here. But we're trying to get a qualifying setup. So we only wanted him to run 5 laps and come back in. We needed him to get seat time, but you can't do a qualifying setup if running 50 laps. You got to get your qualifying with just a lap, 2 laps is it. 2 laps. But for seat time reasons, we're like, just stay out there 5 laps, come back in, we'll make a change. And hopefully it's just an air pressure or a spring, something like that. Something very fast, easy to do. He goes out there for a third time, 5 laps, comes back in. Man, the car feels great, man. It is flying. I recall the TAC, 87.9. I mean, it was almost 8,800 RPMs. I said, hey, man, what is going on? Is this tachometer broke? This is now 6 gears we've come down because we did 2 at a time. If I remember right, I apologize, I have not looked at the winter's gear chart in a long time. But I want to say every ratio is about 50 to 75 RPM. So about 75 RPM. We have come down 6 ratios since we first started. We should be practically right now, we should be at 8,100 RPMs, which is not enough. I would like to turn a little more than that. But we're still bumping almost 8,800 RPMs. What is going on? I finally figured it out. This young kid was going out there, because it's only a high and low speed transmission, right? This young kid was going out there and shifting in the high gear at 8,800 RPMs the whole time and never resetting the TAC, never thinking, he's inexperienced, never thinking that, dude, I'm screaming over here trying to figure out why we're still turning 8,800 RPMs. Did it not register in your brain to not shift at 8,800 RPMs because you're not racing, we're practicing. You go on and shift in high gear so everybody can get accurate readings off of everything. This kid just wound that sucker out every time he went out there and never reset the TAC. And here I am chasing this thing. This went on for, I know, a solid hour or more. Well, he breaks the right rear axle in practice. Finally figured this out. We were turning right, like I said, it was about 81, 82 at this point. Time to qualify. Well, we had one last final practice, and before qualifying, by this time, I'm gonna say a couple hours went by, because they were fighting the car, trying to get everything right, and they did. Boy, they nailed it there at the end. Got there to practice, and he nearly spins out by himself coming out of 2, and he comes right in. Hey, something's wrong. What do you mean something's wrong? Well, he said something happened in the back end. I heard a pop, and the car about, wiped me out. Well, sure enough, the right rear axle broke. So this is the last practice. Now we're done. NASCAR impounds until qualifying, and then you can't touch the car. So we're in trouble. So we've got this broken axle, one tire spins, and there's like 35 cars here. You got to qualify. We qualified 33rd with a broke axle. As soon as qualifying was over, they allow you to go back to your car and make adjustments. So we were able to change the axle out between the race. And that sucker drove his way all the way up to 3rd place. I was so happy. And the only problem he had was trying to slow the car down going into the turn. Well, we had put such a gear in it, turning 8,200, that thing was running 150 mile an hour, trying to make a turn on a dime, like one of them lawnmowers with the little levers, you can do a 0 turn. I mean, did a fantastic job. We had a great time, and those are some of my favorite memories. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. So next time you're chasing gear ratios and RPMs, make sure whoever's driving your car is not shifting it at, whatever 1,000 RPMs and then doesn't tell you that's what's going on. So anyhow, guys, hope y'all have a blessed day, And as you can see, I've been tired and working a lot. Yep. Have a good one.